increase.
Wasn't very
But the
big.
good thing is the school teachers get a raise while the rest of us take a pay cut.
All right, are we on the,
Sheriff,
I think we are. Yep, seems
Yeah.
to be.
all right, hey folks,
sheriff didn't get the
welcome
money he wanted.
all
and,
over the world to the Wild Bob and Ronnie Show here on Saturday. This is October the 4th, I believe, of 2014. And we want to welcome you here. We got a full complement here of resident authorities and genuine.
Thank you. I forgot mine today.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Walked right by the cabinet, forgot them.
But we want to welcome you. Got Jerry Kidd.
I want to say hello to all them Chinese out there. Really love the way y'all running
Our
business.
massacre of mischief, Ronnie Sharp and myself, Wild Bob.
And I want to say a special hello to Argentina for hiding Adolf Eichmann for so
Right.
many years.
We'll be coming on the radio here in a little bit, folks, so you'll get to hear another introduction. Maybe not as
I
good.
took Bill up on the lookout up there where you turn up Eagle Mark,
Right,
over the top up there, lookout. Pretty little dog up there running around. He got throwing sticks and it would fetch him. He sailed one out over the cliff and that dog,
Out over the
you talking about a real bird dog, man. We got the hell out of there.
Did you hear anything like
We got out of there. You know, you can drive all the way up to 141 exit. In fact, that's a better road than going up from Eagle Mark.
We used to ride horses up in there,
Then,
go out there and come down off the power line.
I bet your horse didn't jump for any sticks out over the cliff, did it?
I wanna ask if you remind me, I was a step-down transformer. It used to be on there. And I thought it was a three-phase, but it's a single phase. And it's a 440 step down to 220 or 110 or 120, 240, 120. And you can either supply it with 440 or 220. And,
You'll be able to buy 110.
well,
You don't know how much current you get out of the other end.
well, you get basically the same out you put in.
Well, it depends if you're
Well,
grinding or
load
handling.
Yeah. But I can hook that up on three phase, but just using two legs of the phases, two phases can't.
I don't know.
Okay.
I really don't.
Okay.
You're talking to the wrong guy. I don't know how that,
I can run an ohm meter on it.
what I did with that years ago, I wouldn't use an ohm meter. What do you mean?
It's not hooked up. I'm talking just check the input. It's got four leads, four input leads, so it's got two coils or two transformers actually built together.
How big is this thing?
And it's about 10 by 10
What are
drive.
you trying to run on?
yeah, I read a little article in
And I
the paper.
run a 220
Conditioning.
off of it on a
I
440 or
could not
480
get up
slide.
over here, up here.
Ah, you'll be able to do that.
If you
Yours
load,
Make sure you got a ground
Daughters said they
system set
did
up
not
so you don't
require
get
them
killed.
to take a shower and cool down after
You
they
know,
got
that thing
through
will-
running track. I said, that's the
They will
greatest
like
part
No,
of
I know.
conditioning.
I
You
was
have to
watching
work out
enough
pretty
sometimes.
I
pretty
had
good.
one eat me up
Then
one
you
time.
take a good hot shower and gradually cool down. I couldn't believe that. They never had them to do anything like that.
Did you read my article in the paper?
Yeah, that's
All
what,
the press about the injuries?
right?
Did you read my article on
Yeah.
followed about the injuries?
Yeah,
You coach to prevent injuries. And conditioning has so much to do with it.
oh, I know that. I know
We
that.
did tires and grass drills every day, how to fall, how to roll, how to take a hit.
Tell them who we are, Bob.
Hey, folks, I'll tell you who I am. This is the Wild Bob and Ronnie Show coming to you on WLAF 1450 AM and 100.9 FM from WLAF here in Raleigh, Tennessee. We're pleased to be with you today. We have myself and Ronnie Sharp. We have Jerry Kidd and R.L. Henson here to back us up in any mischief that we might want to create. So we want to welcome you here October the 4th, 2014. I hope you enjoyed the show, and if you got anything you want us to clarify or to talk about or to listen to, you just give us a buzz and we'll be glad to do it.
Well, we know the telephone works, don't we?
If anybody out there lost a bird dog, it was up on Eagle Mark Mountain earlier today, and they haven't seen their dog in a few hours. We got the man in custody here that that might be responsible for your dog. So just run on down here. We'll keep him in handcuffs till you get here.
I know BC bonded.
He might need BC bonding. Up there throwing sticks, and this dog would fetch and bring a stick back. He wondered what would happen if he sailed one of them sticks out over the cliff. Sure enough, that dog thought he was a bird dog.
Well, you heard about the guys that bought this bird dog. They took him back in 2 or 3 days. Says the bird dog's no good. He said, "What do you mean no good?" He said, "We don't care how high we throw him. He ain't flew yet."
Well, that's the same way them bird seed I've been buying. I planted some back in the spring, all I raised was weeds.
Like when we was kids,
Bird seed wouldn't grow.
the neighbor had a red bone, young dog.
Yeah.
And of course, he's a good tree dog, but he's young and he hadn't had a lot of experience. So we got a possum up a tree. And it was I believe it was a walnut tree, but anyhow, it had some low limbs. His dog was all excited, and we hipped him up to the bottom limbs. This dog goes to climbing the tree, working his way out, and that possum went to backing out that limb.
Uh-oh.
Well, the dog went up, and he went to walking out the limb, and then he see that dog can't walk backwards off the limb. And it didn't take just a few seconds when he kind of looked back, see that he couldn't walk back, and he fell out of the tree.
Did you catch him?
No.
Well, you know who your friends are when you fall out of a tree.
Well, we never thought about him falling out. We just kind of hipped him up to the limb to get him started.
Well, Tennessee lost another exciting game. Came right down to the wire. You know how to keep a volunteer out of your front yard, don't you? Put up goalposts.
Probably. Have they already played today?
Yeah, we lost 10-9. We led the game for 59 minutes, 59 seconds. Blew
10-9. Another one of them high scoring games.
You know, when UT did Phil Fulmer dirty, it's almost like we're hexed now. We can't win a close game anymore. You know, we lose to Georgia.
They
by
done
3.
old, Johnny Major's kinda dirty too. Actually, they've done, what's that guy, Bill Bryant so dirty.
Yeah.
Well, I'd probably get in trouble for what I'm gonna say, but
You ought to be used to it,
But
but
don't say anything bad about North
I
Carolina.
get, or I'm saying the same thing about North Carolina too. I get so tired, I'm turning on the radio on Friday, and all you can get is a football game.
before they play,
Huh?
before they play.
You start getting it before they play, and
Well, I can't think of anything more boring than them there after the show discussions, after the game discussions. I'm ready to go do something else myself.
I
I
thought
didn't know who's gonna win.
Yeah.
Hey, we got, what, about 35, 24-hour days, 7-day-a-week sports channels now. What do you expect to do? They're gonna talk everything to death.
Yeah.
And I say, if that's all people have got on their mind, is no wonder we're going down the road in a handbasket.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I believe I missed out when I was a kid. I never did learn all this stuff. I probably would tell you how to plow a straight row or something like that, but I couldn't tell you any of the rest of it.
I bet you could fix a 6-cylinder truck engine.
6
I
cylinder.
bet you could tie a chain
Straight or
under,
B?
under an oak tree limb and lift that engine plumb out of that truck.
Oh, boy. A lot of it I've tried to forget.
Well, I've been very much involved in sports in my life, but you know, sports is what it says, it's a sport. It should not be your main occupation or your main reason for being. And but here in East Tennessee, in this section, like I say, we got 35 or 40 sports shows on Friday night. You know, I think here in the fall, even sometimes even broadcast the junior high games. And which, you know, there's nothing wrong with playing sports and being competitive, but education, and I think our time should be spent can be spent much more wisely than being so involved in these different sports.
Thing that bothers me is football and basketball got so big, it bumped mumbly peg and marbles plumb off the
I
radar.
know that. And nobody hardly ever sits around and plays old maids anymore. Just taking your
Mumble peg.
edge off of Wembley pig.
Mumbly
Mumble
peg.
peg.
Mumbly peg.
You know what they'd do to you if they caught you with that there toy that you played mumbly peg with now?
Oh, they catch you with that in school now,
That
you're
toy?
gone.
Oh, they'd have you up for a dangerous weapon, boy. We played mumbly pig.
Well, yeah, I think.
Hey now, Bob here, who knew Abraham Lincoln personally,
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, Bob been around since rainbows was black and white.
when he, plumb made me forget what I was gonna say.
That's right, Doug.
Bob,
Abraham Lincoln.
when Bob was in school, about all they had was mumbly peg and marbles back in them days.
Right, yeah. We played the game of take it away, you know. Whoever had it, you took it away. You ever play that? I mean,
Yeah.
whoever had the ball.
Anybody that picks it up is.
Everybody tried to take it away from that part. The biggest mound of humanity, 7 or 8 or 10 guys all pounced on there trying to get whatever we had, whether it was a baseball or a football.
We used to play dodgeball with
Yeah, you
baseball.
remember that?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Well, I
baby.
Baseball?
Yeah, we used it in.
Wow. I remember using basketballs, but I don't
We
remember
couldn't
baseball.
afford a frisbee, so.
Soccer balls
We
what we used to
we
use.
couldn't afford frisbee, so we used saw blades.
There you go. You remember, now you didn't go up there on the old school building up on the hill, you didn't go there, you went to Grantsboro. They, in between those buildings or whatever, there was a solid brick wall at the gymnasium.
Yeah.
And that's where we used to play dodgeball. Everybody, you go into, you'd line up against the wall, and you had the one standing out there throwing at you. Wonder what they'd do with a game like that nowadays.
Oh, dodgeball's been outlawed.
Oh, it has?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, is there anything that hadn't been outlawed yet?
Anything that they're making rules in football, before long, it won't be contact sport anymore.
Well, I believe right
You
there.
get ready to tackle the guy, you just send him an email.
Yeah, send him an email, there you go. Or touch, or look at him or something. Fellas, there's a whole lot going on the national scene and whatever else.
Boy, you ain't wrong there.
There's some fascinating things to me. One of them is this 3-week manhunt that's been going on up in Pennsylvania. And they told how many thousands of people, officers and whatever from all over the country, I reckon, is up there looking for this guy. And now, the news reports are real funny. I really get a kick out of them. They said that they're going to get the advantage now on him because the weathers are turning cold and he's going to have to be taking shelter. But also they said that their helicopters that got them there infrared cameras said that now they'll work since the leaves are falling. They can pick him up through the leaves.
Well,
Boys,
how long did they look for Rudolph over in the North Carolina mountains? About 2 years?
Yeah, or 3
And
or
he
5.
pretty much
He
gave
just got
himself up,
hungry and quit.
yeah, he just got home and give up.
Well, see, they painted that dumpster yellow and he thought he was eating at Howard Johnson's.
Yeah.
Well, I reckon the local population around there are real fond of hunting, and the the announcer called hunting a hobby instead of a sport, said they wouldn't get to pursue their hobby. And they were, some
Used
of
to be a
them,
means of survival. It ain't
Well,
been
that
long
was
ago
no
around here
hobby.
that it has some places.
and I don't think they call it a hobby here, I think it's more like a sport, I believe.
I think it's
Or
serious
whatever.
here.
But anyhow,
Well, I never did call it much of a sport. When you hunted a rabbit about that long with a 12-gauge shotgun. I mean, how can you miss a rabbit with a 12-gauge shotgun?
you got a shotgun? I
Yeah.
thought you always used that gravel flipper.
No, I got a 12-gauge shotgun that I have not shot since September of 1954.
What are you saving it for?
No, it bruised my shoulder so bad back then, I said, if I ever shoot this old family shotgun, if I ever shoot this thing again, I hope somebody will shoot me.
I used to have a cousin hunted rabbits with a 22.
Oh, I always hunt with a 22 if I
Yeah,
hunt by
bright
myself
lights.
and with my dog.
I knew a guy that hunted
But
with
now,
a
the
22.
only thing about
He
it
could
is you
shoot
don't
them
get,
in them running.
Well,
yeah, you don't get to take as many shots, cause you gotta see where it's gonna go in case
Yeah.
you miss.
Yeah, they take a 22 automatic. I love to rabbit hunt with a 22 automatic. Of course, if he ever stops, you know, a lot of times he'll hop off ahead of him and stop. Oh, he's had it then. But the fun is when they bring him by, boom, boom, boom.
I ain't squirrel hunting with a shotgun, of course, I ain't squirrel hunting a long time, but I quit squirrel hunting shotguns a long time ago, cause
Yeah.
half the time you'd heard them and couldn't get them out of the tree. With a 22 holler point, if you hit one, pretty good chance
yeah.
you're gonna take it home with you.
I quit hunting with a shotgun. I don't know, it was so many years, well, I was still in high school, and they got to where there wasn't no sport to it. With a shotgun, once you got zero, or found him, or located him, all you had to do was just wait.
I could kill more with a 22, cause I wouldn't take as good a aim with a shotgun.
That's right. And, well, like I say, I gave up the shotgun part of it a little.
I used to bird hunt and I had a 10-gauge double barrel with a hammer.
Ah,
And the first time I carried it out, I didn't realize if you shot the open barrel first and you had the choke barrel back, that both of them went off at the same time. Now, it just dumped me right on my rear end when that happened.
My daddy wasn't a very good hunter, so when I was little, I had to learn to eat a whole lot of what's called East Tennessee Mountain cockroach chili.
well, had a lot of protein, I guess.
Had a lot of protein. But
Them razors have legs, didn't he?
But anyhow, fellas, getting back to this manhunt, you got all that manpower been out there for 3 weeks now, and the hunters are not being allowed to hunt. And the hunters say that they're of a mind to go back to hunting. And the,
Where are they at?
up in Pennsylvania,
Pennsylvania.
and the authorities tell them to be careful when they go out hunting, if they ain't gonna shoot something that ain't on the list, you know what I'm saying?
is that Susquehanna Mountains? What's the name
I
of
don't
the
know what
mountains
the
up
name
there?
of it
You've
is.
driven trucks across it. There's so many deer up there, you see, remains of deer that are hit by
And
trucks.
bear.
And they put hay on the sides of the interstates to try to keep the deer from going to the median to graze.
Yep. The, I can tell you the name of them mountains, it just goes from, there's one, well anyhow, this is Euphrates Creek.
Adirondacks,
Adirondacks.
That's New York, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, but these are,
He's a big long Adirondack. We was over there, and we was going out west, and the mule deer out there, we was going, this is in South Dakota, over above 10 Sleeps, and we was, that's north, that's my own. Anyway, we was out in South Dakota, and we're going through, it's a 4-lane road, but it wasn't an interstate, and we've been driving, and the deer, we saw 10, 12 of them there, laying beside the road, and, we was talking about, well, it's a shame to waste all that meat, you know, it's a shame all them deer got killed. We went in this campground, and the girl there was checking us in, I said, boy, a lot of deer killed out here. She said, yeah, it's a shame. It's just a shame. She said, they're pair of color old pieces.
They will, they do.
Yeah, they do. You know, some guy last year, one fella hit a deer and knocked it to the windshield of another guy and killed the second guy.
Oh, man.
You know, I had a little old, one of these real small General Motors cars, what do they call those things?
Corvette,
Huh?
Corvette,
No, it wasn't a Corvette.
Corvair.
Corvette.
Chevette?
No, it was a front wheel drive car, and they still make them, I think. But it's a little old convertible anyhow, and I turned the corner, and right after I turned this corner, I wasn't going all that fast, maybe 25, 30 miles an hour. A whole herd of deer went in front of me. I slammed on brakes, but the last one of the bunch plowed me right in the side, you know. She went up there in the ditch and fell over and died. I think eventually I called the highway patrol, and I came down there and I told him what happened. He looked at me, he says, have you been drinking? I said, no, but I think that deer was drunk.
Go sight the deer.
Yeah, and I just got off of work, and I probably looked like a drunk anyhow. So he won't know if I've been drinking. I said, no, but I think that deer was drunk. They're always looking for something in the wrong places, you know.
Well, he couldn't find that deer.
No. Yeah, the deer was laying.
Yeah, no, it's not, he couldn't find, F-I-N-E, he couldn't write him a citation.
Right, yeah. Or let me bring something up to you that happened here, and this happened actually down in front of your place, Ronnie. The other morning, someone let this man out, actually was the one living up there at the place now, let him out, and he was going down to Terry's to go to work. Well, he was on private property, he was on your property, and the LaPollet police person pulled in and questioned him, you know, what he was doing there. Well, if it meant me, I told him none of your business, you know, but he was, like most poor people here in LaPollet, very, very fearful of the authorities. And he told her he was going to work. She said, "You're not trying to break in on his place?" He said, "No." She says, "What you got in your hand?" Well, he had 2 Neurontin pills that he had a prescription for, which he says, "I got some Neurotins here." She said, "Well, you going to jail for having Schedule 6 substance." He said, "Well, I got the bottle up here where I have a prescription making difference. You're going to jail." They took him to jail.
Was this a sheriff's department or sheriff's department or
This was
City?
the Pollock Police.
LaPollet City?
They
That's
took
what
him-
happens, folks.
They took him to jail.
When you have 26 policemen and you only need 4.
Right. Well, they got too many of them. They took him to jail down there. He spent the night there, went in front of the judge the next day, and the judge turned him loose, but told me he had to pay $250 court costs. Now, that's the way you keep poor people poor here in the Pollock, and that's exactly what they intend to do. First of all, she had no reason, no probable cause to question him on private property. Second, she should have checked to see if he had a prescription from Neurontin, which he does, supposed to take 2 of them a day. He had 2 of them in his hands because he's going to work. Left a bottle there where he lives. She should have checked that and verified that rather than hauling that person who cannot read and write, who does not know his rights, hauling him to jail. I mean, I know it made this whole community safer with him not being on the job working.
Who was the judge in this case?
I'm sure the new lady was the judge.
Amanda Salmon.
I'm sure she was.
Well, she's been doing some interesting things lately. She's been accused of destroying official documents on a case. She actually took a document, tore it up, threw it in the garbage. And she's been cited for that. There was a case that a guy wanted to appeal from her to Shane Sexton. She refused to let him appeal it. Well, he wanted the document so that he could take that to Shane Sexton, she tore it up and threw it in the garbage. So, now this was an attorney, so he wrote up a writ of certiorari. Now, a cert writ is basically saying Amanda Sandlins no longer has jurisdiction in this case, that Shane Sexton has taken it away from her. It's a form of appeal from the top down instead of the bottom up, because she refused to let this case progress to Shane's court.
There's,
I hadn't heard about that.
the procedure doesn't sounds to me like there's something missing here. Okay, wait just a minute. Had she made a decision in the case or something? Well, in order to make an appeal, she had to make a decision, is that correct?
He wanted, okay, she made a decision that he was gonna be bound over under a bond for several months, and at the end of that 6 months, if he did not commit any more crimes, and he had been stealing cars and several different states, he had a pretty good record. And she said if he didn't commit any more crimes, then she would hear the case 6 months later.
Whenever you say it, a
And
pretty
the
good
attorney
record.
wanted it to go straight to the court and, be adjudicated right at that time.
When you say he had a pretty good record, now, are you talking about that did you mean that he did not have a criminal record, is that what you're saying?
No, he had a record, a yellow sheet.
Yeah, he
He had
would've
been
qualified
stealing
to-
cars.
He would have
Oh.
qualified to run for office.
Well, I didn't understand whenever you said he had a pretty good record, I didn't know
He
where
was
you
trying to
meant
get the form filled out so he could run for office.
So he could run for office here, that's what the problem was.
that. Okay.
Amanda started out, they swore her in, she walked right out in the hall
And married somebody.
and married somebody. Well,
Wasn't she already married?
well, no, she married a couple,
Oh,
another couple. She
married
performed
two.
the wedding.
That's
She
polygamy, ain't it?
performed the wedding.
That's polygamy.
But what happened, somebody turned to,
We'll have to be a little more specific this year.
somebody turned to, the, judge, civil judge, what is he, Ayers? Or asked, what is his name? He's from Cleveland County.
The one before her?
No, the regular district civil judge. He ran unopposed, so.
McAfee.
McAfee. Somebody asked McAfee, what if they show up in your court looking for a divorce? And he said, I'll tell them don't waste your time.
I already saved some money there, right?
He said, he ain't married anyway, because the state law says that she don't officially become sessions judge until a certain date. And
Yeah.
that didn't come till Monday, and there she was married.
They're
to this
living
couple
in sin.
yeah, they're living in sin.
Their offspring can't inherit.
Now, she would respond to questions when she wanted my vote. So I sent her a question. I said, what about this? This wedding, what are you gonna do to fix this? She ain't ever
You
responded.
done ruined your, long, didn't take you long, did it? I know you got the sheriff mad at you now.
Yeah.
You think I got the sheriff?
The guy that got arrested, he has grounds for a suit.
I know he does.
He has very good grounds for a suit, and seems to me like, well, of course, nobody don't know, or some of the local attorneys probably are not aware of that situation, but, if there's not any other circumstances involved other than what you're telling us here, he's been falsely arrested, and that can get real sticky for like the city or whatever else, or the judicial system.
It should.
Yeah,
They need to be taken to task because it is their object to keep every poor person in this town poor and in the
Well,
judicial system.
I wouldn't say, I'd say it in a different way, Bob. What they're doing, they're looking for revenue. And
Well, how they, that's
Well,
the
when
way
you
to
got-
keep them poor is taking their money.
When you got 20,
yeah,
when you got 26, when you got
I don't think
26
that's the objective.
police, full-time policemen, you
I don't
gotta
think
have
it-
money.
I don't think their objective is to keep them poor. Their objective is to make themselves a little better off financially
Well,
without a lot of
How
effort.
come they don't take the money from rich people then? His job is not to keep them poor. The reason Obama let all these people come in across the border is because the Democratic Party depends on poor people, and we're not growing them poor fast enough here, so we had to bring some more in.
That's the import
To
poor.
support the
That's the
Democratic
Even
Party.
you're poor, you're needy, and you're shiftless,
Well,
and you
they
know
needed
that.
help.
I'll tell you what, I believe he's converting a lot of those that had wealth to the poor.
Yeah, he's doing his best.
Yeah, he's doing his best.
By the way, we've got this year new tax increase, and I contend that they ain't got no.
17%.
Yeah, they ain't got no money, they can cut nowhere, but they still poured sand in the lake. Now, that may be stopped now, but all them little things that we've done around adds up. And if we hadn't been pouring sand in the lake and other stuff, and as far as the sheriff needs more help, if he could get out of the seatbelt enforcement and the goat policing, he could save a little money.
Well, I really think the budget for the Campbell County Sheriff's Department needs to be cut where they have to utilize their manpower for what it's supposed to be used for. I think the budget for the Lafayette Police Department needs to be seriously trimmed so that they can quit trolling up and down Jacksboro Pike looking for a fee, and they can do what they're supposed to do. I think the budget for the Lafayette Fire Department needs to be trimmed so they cannot afford to send 2 big trucks every time there's a fender bender on Jacksboro Pike. You got 2 big trucks a lot of times.
Now, I don't know now, Bob, we need them fire trucks so we can run up to Kentucky Avenue and pick up the mayor's mother when she has to go to the emergency room.
Well, they could call Vital Care.
Well, they won't call Vital Care, they call the Campbell County Ambulance
If
Service.
anybody else out there needs an ambulance, they need to consider Vital Care.
45 minutes later, they still ain't got
Let
an
me-
ambulance,
Let me-
so what they did was they sat down and had one of the fire trucks come up and pick her up.
Well, let me shed a little light on this and something that I'm aware of. You know, at one time, we got on the ambulance service because there was no coverage for Caryville at night. No coverage at all from about 10 o'clock at night the rest of the night. So what they did, they more or less entered into agreement that they would keep somebody down to Caryville area, and Vital Care was to get what was going on in the city after a 10-hour carry. But nobody coordinated with the 911 people. All right, they should have called Vital Care to start with. But no, they called the ambulance, and they did not really have one that was dispatched for this area. So until they got one free or something, they didn't send one.
Well, back to Vital Care, 562-9370, they're always happy to respond and got finest equipment and personnel and most, what's that word I'm hunting, Bob?
What do you, I didn't hear what you,
Professional, most professional you could expect anywhere.
most efficient?
Yeah,
most
efficient.
most
Professional is what I was struggling
the
for.
best equipped ambulance service that you can get anywhere, whether you're in the city or whether you're in Caryville. If you need to be transported for medical procedure or emergency, you call Vital Care, which we've already said is 562-9370, or you can call 911 and specifically request Vital Care come and pick you up.
We tried to tell the county commissioners down there, before the tax increase, that, they could, cut a lot of money by privatizing the ambulance service in this county. And they would not only cut money, that they increased over half of, what was it, $500,000, over $500,000, that they actually increased their amount of money. We could have cut not only that amount, but we could have got a private corporation to bid on this and pay the county So it would've been money coming in,
Right,
no money going out, money coming in, cause they would pay us for the franchise. We don't have enough businessmen trying to run our county commission.
We got plenty of them, they're all in business politics.
You know,
Wrong business.
there's another aspect, and I don't know what it, I'm sure it has an effect somewhere as far as the ambulance is concerned. But, if I'm not mistaken, we have a fully equipped ambulance, facility at the Money Hole Park.
We do.
They've got a garage and ambulances and whatever stationed there.
Well, I don't know whether they keep an ambulance out there or not.
Well, they're supposed
I
to.
know.
that,
well-
White Bridge,
Yeah,
yeah, they keep one out there.
Well,
That's
for
the
a
one
while they did,
Huh?
for a while they did not.
Okay, that's one that.
Well, we
that
have
one
two
headlight.
we have two full-time park directors for that
Well,
little bitty, what is that, about a half a square mile?
It's just a money
Out there.
hole.
that's what it is, it's Money Hole, but I believe somewhere along the line it was mentioned that by putting that facility out there, that it would, the government would pay us so much money or something. We'd get some kind of a kickback from the government, which boils down to the taxpayer
the
somewhere's
government
paying
will pay the
for it.
government back,
Yeah.
right, yeah, okay.
So, but,
Well, I think they got a grant
right, of
to
some
do
kind.
some of that out there, and I don't know whether this is true or not, but I was told they got a grant to help build some of that out there. Of course, that didn't go anywhere like that $1.2 million we spent, plus with what we don't know about, and that ongoing expense.
But
That's
you know, you
drained
gotta
out
have an ambulance out there, you got a little league baseball park, you have head injuries, arm, finger
They got people
injuries.
drown, they gotta
You
get them
got
out and dump
people
drain
that
them
have
out.
drowning accidents.
I believe.
We
if
got, I mean, that's the only thing out there. You gotta go a mile either way to find a residence, or
Yeah.
farther.
Yeah, that's true, that's a pretty good area out there, but now you take.
That's like putting
You
an ambulance
take
out
it-
in the middle of the desert,
It's a
where
pretty,
nobody lives.
it's a pretty far piece from there all the way out past Ronnie's place, you know, and, they do have a head start by being out there, you know.
You know, the fire department will get their time saved enough so they gotta pay for his tearing it down, you can always count on that.
I noticed, you know, we've got this one, situation that I have mentioned here before, where you have a county sheriff that drives a big SUV. He drives all the way out, past Racetrack Road, off of Grantville. Drives out that way, drives a big SUV home every night, which, you know, they make justification for them doing that.
Yeah, you gotta go out and police the goat situation.
There you go. I'll say this, he comes to work about 8:45 in the morning, okay? Of course, I'm sure he's made a big patrol area before he comes to work, I'm sure of that, you know.
Did you read his letter on the WLAF blog last week?
Right.
How sad he was that they didn't get the money and we were gonna be unsafe.
I read that
insecure.
response letter too.
Did you read that response
Yeah.
letter? I hope I drove the nail home on that one.
I'm thinking maybe you better look behind you, make
Did
sure your tail lights
WLF,
are working.
did they print mine?
Yeah,
Yeah.
They did?
yeah.
Oh, I haven't been back.
What I
on
was
there.
getting at, I don't know what they got the, lines lit up here for. If there's nobody on it, maybe that's what
Yeah, it's got a ring before it, it's got a ring
Yeah.
first, Bob.
Well,
That
no, they
flashing right
still
there.
lit up.
Okay. I don't know if it, okay.
Okay, all right. Well, what I was saying about, sheriff driving a big SUV home every
That's
afternoon.
a sheriff's deputy, by the
Which
way.
is 17 miles, I believe. Then he comes to work at 8:45 every morning. He goes back home for lunch at 11:45 every day. He comes back in from home 17 miles away at 1:45, and he goes home at 3:45 every day, driving a county vehicle, okay? I'm sure if he were driving his own vehicle for, he had to come to work and he couldn't take his county vehicle home, that he wouldn't be making all those trips. Then not only that, I noticed that there, one or two, Lafayette police live out in Emory also, all the way out past Emory Mark, and they drive a Lafayette police car home, okay?
Out of the city limits.
Out of city limits. Then there's also one that lives out of Pinecrest Road out here that drives a city vehicle home. Okay, so that's 3 or 4 that's driven.
That you?
Your pocket's playing music to us.
Huh?
Your pocket's playing music.
Okay, that's somebody calling me. I couldn't hear from my own racket.
We couldn't either.
Yeah.
It's over now.
Right.
Well, fellas, as far as the money is concerned, our taxes and the way they're being spent, it's done due to the fact of the way the rules are set up. And the rules have been set to protect about any kind of spending that
The county or the
yeah, the
city
county
wants
or
to
any
do,
government facility decides to do.
yeah. Right.
Until we, and I don't foresee this ever happening, until we have oversight groups, and I'm talking about not elected people, I'm talking about the citizens, until there's some type of oversights, you're not gonna change this type of thing.
No, you're not.
I was having a discussion earlier here with a person, and we've come to a point, there's, it's a proven fact, there's not enough people working, and not enough income being generated to support our government and all the money that is being spent. And this has been the situation for quite a few years. And that's how we kept getting deeper and deeper in debt.
Does anybody know how the population of Campbell County has changed in the last 40 or 50 years?
It's
You talking about
declining.
number?
It's declining,
The county?
yes.
Well, back whenever we was growing up, we didn't
Well,
have,
I can only talk the last 10, 12 years.
well, back when I was growing up, we didn't have paved roads out where I lived. We didn't have telephone service all the way out there. We didn't have,
Water.
no internet or anything like
No
that.
water lines.
I know, but I'm saying,
Uh-huh.
now they've got, if you call the police, he can get out there a lot quicker than he used to could. And you can call the police instead of writing them a letter too.
Yeah, send them a postcard.
But still, we have increased our police force several times over what it was when I was a kid. And I'll swear I feel less safe than I did then. Maybe I just know more about what's going on.
Well, let me give you an example. In 1956, the city of Lafayette had 4 full-time policemen and 1 car. Now, the population was 6,000. Today, the population is 7,300. We have 26 policemen on the city of Lafayette police force. You tell me we gotta have 22 extra policemen for 1,300 people?
Well, but
Now, they say there's more crime today, but there ain't that much more crime.
hey, you guys realize that there are 3 of them parked out in the county that they driven home.
Well, now, is there more
And they got
crime
all
or just
these-
more being reported?
Well,
You gotta
if
change the
if
catching
you
board
arrest
if you got
somebody
that many
for
people.
trying to go to work,
Yeah.
who's on private property with his daily allocation of medicine in his hand, and,
I've at least had it in my pocket.
we got too much
Well, he
government,
didn't
we got
think
too much.
anything about it because he had a legal prescription for it.
Did you hear about the government's been giving away all these tanks and armored vehicles,
Yeah,
machine guns?
I've been in
and
line to
stuff?
get one.
There's this one town, this guy wrote him a letter, and the letter was published in the New Yorker, that they sent him this tank, and it requires 3 people to man it. And they only have 2 employees. The chief wrote the letter, said, there's only me and my cousin Roy working. And the police department, and the manual says, the CD that tells you how to run this thing, says you gotta have 3 people. Would you mind sending us another man down here? Hopefully he's been previously trained on operation of
How
that.
about a 2-man tank?
Well, did you see where the local police department had put in a special request for funds to send 2 officers, is it to Chattanooga or to Atlanta, to pick up 2 surplus, I think Humvees, for the police department here. Now, what in the world does the police department need with 2 Humvees?
Well, the same reason we need a paddy wagon. Have you seen that paddy wagon that's been sitting in our city hall for the last 3 or 4 years? I don't think it's been moved yet. I mean, the only time they tried to use it when they did that prosecution roundup down on the
Oh, yeah,
corner
but
of Central Avenue in Tennessee.
Well, that got 'em in trouble, didn't it?
Let them all out at the back door of the police department,
So we got a paddy wagon, why shouldn't we have some Humvees? I want one of these big armored SUVs with one of these,
That was a gun turret on that.
6,000 rounds a minute gun turret up
Yeah.
on top of it. And we could,
We're up Knob Creek.
we could solve the meth problem if we had one of these armored SUVs with a 6,000 rounds a minute machine gun up on top.
I'd hate to see one coming several more, wouldn't you?
I believe that if you read all the fine print that goes along with this military ordinance that's issued to municipalities, I believe, and I've not read this, it's just my opinion, that all this equipment that they're distributing out can be taken back by the government at any time. In other words, it's a way for them to store equipment all over the country.
They wouldn't take it
Well,
back,
you
they
know what,
put
though?
helicopters in the
Well,
ocean.
you know what?
Another letter
It's possible.
that was in the New Yorker was from this town that they sent them one of these, armored vehicles. And
Okay.
it was a real high tech, kinda like a, motor vehicle designed for rights and stuff. But they'd never had a right in this community in their entire history. But wrote a letter to the Pentagon and said, look, the manual's written in Chinese. We can't figure out where the gas tank is. We can't find out how to put gas in this thing. Did you send us a manual written in English?
I keep looking for the county to make a request to go down to Wilmington, North Carolina and get some of these surplus ships and bring them up here for,
North
North
Well,
Lake.
Sheriff Ron, here, he had a boat, some four wheelers,
Sheriff
an
Warren had a
airplane, didn't
patrol boat.
he? Yeah, airplane. Law.
I'll tell you what,
He run out of money too.
when you pull 975,000 cash out of the back of a BMW,
You get back to the station in Kansas, you misplaced 300,000.
300,000, well, that bought a home out at Greenpeace or
I don't
whatever.
know about that, but
Well, you know, all
you just
kidding
miscounted,
aside,
it's just an honest mistake.
with everything that's going on and the problems they got, there's one thing that you can count on.
Yeah,
That's Wilson's Propane down in Sawmill Hollow.
right in the middle of the
Right
road.
in the middle of the road, you can guarantee he's gonna be there blocking your way. I don't care what time of the day or night you go down through there.
You can't forget his phone number.
He's got good propane, good hot propane. He's got his winter blend just coming in now. And some fella had about 4 of them 100-pound tanks down there filling them up the other day. And I went down there, I had this thermocouple that I had bought in some scrap. And I went down, I said, Digger, I said, here's something you might use, where'd you get that? He said, I said, well, I bought it in some scrap, He said, well, I probably can use it since you bought it in some scrap. I said, you probably could use them maybe before I got it. I said, I brought it down there to give to you. He's about like that fella that we see up here at the station every once in a while. Come down there one morning and I had a couple old lawnmowers on a trailer and I was gonna give him one of them. But the one he pulled out, he started throwing off on how bad it was and everything. And I just told him, I said, I was gonna give you that lawnmower, but since it's in such bad a shape, I don't want you to have it.
5625444 for gas, but not
Right.
lawnmowers.
Good gas. You get every bit of heat there is in a pound of propane that comes out through one of those Mr. Heaters.
5625444.
I love that hickory flavored propane.
Right, yeah, yeah.
Makes that meat taste so well.
Oh, man, yeah, it just does it up right. It sure does. So, but you know, the city has requested a 13% tax increase.
The city also,
The
Again?
city,
the city,
Again?
along with the county's,
city.
A 67% tax
Along with
increase
Cliff,
wasn't enough?
along with Cliff Jennings,
Hey,
67.
where'd you get that?
I didn't hear that. I
I
thought
heard it on the radio or something. I knew
That's the
it was
county, I know they got they're going for 13
Yeah, I
cents.
know they got 13%. City, I'm pretty sure the city has requested a 13% tax
Okay,
increase
now,
also.
it's not percent, it's cents, 13 cents.
13 cents on.
13 cents, is that on the
Right.
100?
On the 100.
On the
13
100,
cents, that's county, isn't it?
okay. Yeah, that, the county,
Right.
I just got a,
13.4, I believe.
I got a quick gander at the thing in the journal, and they're gonna have boy, they really stressed an open public meeting. I know they're not going to allow the public to discuss it. It may be an open meeting, but I don't think they'll.
You're talking about the county commission?
Yeah.
They're going back to let people speak.
They're
Now,
gonna
what
do
they're
it, but-
thinking about doing is they don't wanna allow proxy anymore.
Well,
That if a man, ain't gonna do his own speaking, he shouldn't be allowed to speak. And that'll
I
keep
think-
people like you from speaking for 2 or 3 hours,
right,
you
and
know,
I agree
holding
with
the
that.
county commission
I
hostage.
agree that we shouldn't allow them, by voting for them, to speak for us either.
I agree,
So
totally.
why the heck vote for them? You know, why even have the meeting if they're gonna do all
Now,
the
you
speaking?
know I'm being facetious.
Yeah, I know I
You know,
understand.
they
But I
love,
get a little aggravated at them.
they love to blame, all their rules on you. It was
Well-
all your fault they passed these rules.
When they speak about,
You know, you made the motion, you seconded it, and you voted 15 times. That's the
Okay.
way they like to say, it's all you're
I'll
doing.
tell you what, well, anyhow, you can mess with any of their rules if you wanted to. You could take 100 people down there and let each one of them speak for 5 minutes and speak on anything on the sun, and you'd wreck their meeting. They'd have to change the rules again.
Of course they
They
would,
would change the
Of
rules
course
to
they
meet
would.
whatever their need is.
but they're talking
And-
about going back to letting everybody speak and
Yeah, they're
limit
talking
them
about, yeah.
to 5
In other words,
5 minutes and
you're-
no proxies.
you're getting
That's-
back to what I said about it before. They will not vote to rescind it, they will amend it to meet whatever their needs are, is what it
Did
will
you
be.
see where they voted to cut the county commission from 15 people down to 10?
They ought to cut it to 1.
And the board, exactly.
Yeah, the heck with it.
They're five.
5. Well, they're cutting the Board of Education from 10 to 5.
They'll cut that down to one.
Now, I'm gonna tell you folks,
They're none.
you need to get on your county commission, because that means that you will have government by committee, and the fewer number you have, the easier it is for them to conspire behind your back.
I like that, cause it's easier
Yeah.
to buy votes if you ain't got as many
Hey,
votes to
fellas,
buy.
let
I
me-
think what we ought to do is change the charter in this county, that if you're registered to vote, you're a member of the county commission. They hold the meetings at the gym, at the high
I agree.
school. And if you have a registration card, you can walk in, you can make motions, speak, and everybody vote.
And vote, that's correct.
Yes,
Uh,
that's what we ought to
That's
have,
what we ought
is
to
a
have.
town
You talk
meeting
about-
with everybody. And that way we would resolve these issues instead of letting Jeff Marlowe run everything.
well, it's like a
Jeff
commission.
Marlowe couldn't run the whole county.
It's like one of the former commissioners told me, said
Only he
these
has
these
small
public
groups.
hearings, all we do is we let these public come down there and get off some steam, and we've already made up our mind what we're gonna do before they get there.
No, Marlowe's made his mind up
Well,
what's gonna
I've
happen.
seen
I'm
that
talking
happen
about-
every public meeting
Yeah.
I've been in, people goes in mad and they
Yeah.
won't do nothing, they wait till they cool off and come back and they done gonna do what they're gonna do anyway.
Yeah.
It's just a bit,
Do it.
It's kinda like like the building codes thing, or whatever, they had a public hearing, all the they may have been 1 or 2 people there that was for the building codes, and the
Why is
rest were
that
against
building,
it.
why has that building code issue not been brought back up? You know, we
It's
got
like-
3 months for them to vote on it again.
It's like all sorts of, and see, that's right, it could be brought up right now for a revote. But the county commission is not going to vote out of it. You know how the thing got in there? They got in there by not voting. In other words, it renews itself automatically.
Automatically, if
You
they
have to
don't vote it out.
If you don't vote out, you're automatically in it.
So they're
And-
not gonna make the motion. If
Yeah,
anybody makes the
you
motion, they
show-
won't get a second.
You wait and see. Now, there's half those commissioners out there right now that are listening to us. And if they're not, they've got access to what we're saying. Let's see one of them bring up a motion to vote on this thing, to vote on this building codes.
Either one I
International
voted
building
for
codes.
needs to do it. How about it, Whit?
Yeah,
There you go.
We'll
Come on,
bring it up.
mailman kits.
yeah, no. I voted, well, I can't remember exactly, but anyhow, one or two of the people I voted for was elected, but I haven't even talked to them, and I think it's a waste of time anyhow, as far as I feel about government. Let me make one comment here, gentlemen. I'm starting a petition, this lady that was over the Secret Service that resigned, I'm gonna start a petition to get her reinstated. I think she done a wonderful job, a great job, and I think they put her out just because she was a woman, and whatever, and I think everybody's entitled to make a mistake, and I think she should be reinstated. The president shouldn't accept her resignation and put her back in there. I think she done a great job.
It's probably because she's a woman and because of racism.
That's
what it
right.
was.
You know, there's a war on women, and right there, I think the president declared her a casualty. He just wiped
Hey,
her out for no reason.
She said when that guy ran down the hall, he had a Secret Service agent step for step right with him.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Well, they
There
had
was-
a witness, didn't they?
yeah, there was
They
protection
like
all
that.
the way down through
Yeah, they
there.
wouldn't have
So
to
why he
happen.
made it all the way to the
Making
green
sure he
room or
wasn't
whatever.
gonna get hurt.
We let
That's
millions,
right.
there's millions of guests from south of the border that are coming across the border, and whenever they come across, we furnish them food,
Well, they're
housing,
making,
and
you know, they're
everything.
making a big fuss over that security guard that got on the elevator with Obama down there in Atlanta when he's visiting the CDC. That this guy had a job with a fly-by-night security company, had 3 felonies against him, and he was standing 2 or 3 feet away from the president with a gun on his hip.
Well, the
Well-
president was in good company, he was taking care of him.
Yes.
He's protect. How
Well,
much
has
more
anybody ever
protection?
noticed that these people keep getting through security are got the same last names as the people coming across the fence?
He probably, he is
Jose?
just, he is just as
Really?
Hey,
effective.
Zoo.
Check it out.
He is just as effective with his Secret Service and his other personnel that he has brought into the federal government as they were in hiring that guy to speak sign language over at
Yeah.
Mandela's funeral. I mean, the guy didn't even know sign language, you know.
Well, what's wrong with that? The guy was probably unemployed and needed the money.
Well, you know, how long did it take them to notice that though? There wasn't nobody interested in it no how.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you what. George W. Bush, he knew how to duck them shoes when they threw him at him. He was a good ducker, buddy.
Laughing too. Two, they're gonna run out of me, it's got 2 feet.
Dodging them shoes.
Yeah.
Obama couldn't even get a baseball from the pitcher's mound to home plate. It had to bounce 6 times before he got there.
Oh, he is really a job.
Well, it's his game. His
He
game's fast.
jogs up and down the plane steps, you know, like he's going, run out in center court and be introduced.
Yeah, fellas, I'll tell you what, we're in deep, deep stuff. There's more stuff going on here, and I guess we might as well kind of laugh and make jokes about it. But we got one deadly serious situation with Ebola. Now, they can laugh it off, and they can say, oh, it don't mean nothing.
You know, only Fox
It's-
News
It's
is coming
impossible
out
for you to
and
catch it.
basically pointing out that head of the CDC is lying to the American people about
Now,
that
you
Ebola.
know that anybody in a position like that wouldn't lie to us.
But hey,
Uh,
if you got a daughter being born right now, name her Ebola. I guarantee you'll never have to worry about her getting in trouble.
Well, everything contradicts itself. They say that it's almost impossible to contract this without you go kiss or do something to somebody. Well, I heard about an hour or two ago, and this must be pretty current, that they took another person off of a flight somewhere. There was a doctor on the flight, and he noticed that one of the passengers was not, that seemed a little bothered or something. I
Had a
don't
little
know.
blood coming out of their eyes
May
and
have been,
ears
but
and
anyhow,
nose.
he brought it to the attention. CDC met the airplane in hazmat gear and escorted the guy off the plane. Now, he was from Liberia. It was where he's from. That's where he had originated from. Now, if it's so impossible to catch this virus, why do they go in this hazmat gear to take him off? And then they tell all the passengers they've got nothing to worry about.
Well, I've been telling everybody for 2 or 3 weeks that this doctor, I mean, they say they sure have these doctors that keeps catching this. Now, if anybody knows how it's contagious, how it's communicable, it should be these guys.
And they know how to
And
protect
I
themselves.
know they ain't just sitting around squirting blood in their nose all the time, so evidently it ain't as hard to catch as they want us to think.
Well, I heard a comment made the other night that over the years, as long as we've known anything about Ebola or whatever, that it had mutated somewhere along the line of 200 times. But now I don't know how factual that is. But they say viruses do mutate in order to, it's nature's way of protecting them, their survival. And if this thing gets to where it can go airborne, which to me it seems like it could if you sneeze, you've already put airborne, maybe not for a long distance, but maybe for 4 or 5 foot.
I picked up on thinking that it can live on surfaces too,
I heard that too. That's a good question. That's one I asked. How long could it live?
on a doorknob.
Yeah, on a outside, you know, just like what Ronnie
Outside the
says.
host body,
Yeah, without a host, how could it survive? And if it can survive 5 hours in a populated area, man, they ain't no telling how many people. It's just,
Well, you know, because of political correctness, we did not use quarantining when AIDS hit this country.
that's correct.
And-
We did.
Thank God, knock on wood or whatever, AIDS really did not transmit very well and did not transmit through the air or water or anything. You actually had to exchange bodily fluids with somebody before you do it. But they didn't know that up front. And they kept saying, oh, you can't catch it, you can't, but they didn't know that. It took years before they knew that AIDS,
Well, they've never really admitted that AIDS is mainly a rear attack virus.
I don't have the.
okay, Bob.
Don't want to dig into that,
That was the
They don't want to turn
statement.
that leaf over.
There
do they?
there was.
That's it, fellers.
Well,
We're off there.
Right.
Bob, your joke got to shut down.
Get that one in, but
Bob's rear attack virus.